Okay, welcome to a class on adverb collocations. We have already looked at gradable and ungradable adjectives, and in that class we learned that absolutely, utterly, totally, completely work with ungradable adjectives and very, fairly, slightly work with gradable adjectives. But to be completely frank, to be completely honest, it's not entirely true. Yeah, and there we go, entirely true. And what I mean is that we even saw, I even spoke a little bit about sure and certain, and I spoke about how they're both gradable, yeah, very sure, very certain, but they work with ungradable adverbs. And so really what I taught you in that lesson is not entirely true. And I did tell you at the time that it's not the whole story, because really you need to learn adverb collocations and not just absolutely for strong adjectives or ungradable adjectives and very for weak adjectives. That's the first step into this grammar, but the whole story is adverb collocations. And so some adverbs collocate with adjectives like true, sure, certain, convinced. We would often say, yeah, okay, I'll put that in the wrong column. Let's put it here. It's not entirely true. Yeah, what I told you is not entirely true. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely certain. I'm not entirely convinced are really typical expressions in English. And you ought to learn these typical collocations simply because it's how the natives speak. And I'm pretty sure you would like to speak in the same way or in a similar way. So yeah, we do say I'm not entirely sure, certain, convinced, and we certainly say it's not entirely true, it's not entirely appropriate, it's not entirely your fault. And what I want you to notice is entirely is usually used in negative sentences, and that's important. Not entirely is very often spoken and very often heard. And so, yeah, something to remember. Entirely is often used in negative sentences. It's not only used in negative sentences, but it is often used in negative sentences. So we can also say, I wasn't entirely honest. I wasn't entirely responsible. I wasn't entirely to blame. And notice that responsible, to blame, your faults, they're all similar, yeah? Just like honest, true, sure, certain, they're similar. There are some similar words that collocate with entirely. And of course, this really does mean, yeah, I wasn't completely, it wasn't totally, it wasn't only my fault. It wasn't only, or I wasn't 100% honest with you.